Navigation Circle, Rockport, Texas. I call this workshop to order. Roll call.
Commissioner Cheney.
Here.
Commissioner Castleline.
Here.
Commissioner Russo. Here. Commissioner Dupnick.
Here.
Judge Garcia.
Here, we have a quorum. At this time, do we have anybody signed up for citizens to be heard? Okay. Nobody. All right, the only item for discussion is discussion installation of the proposed sculpture and water feature to be installed in front of the community building at the downtown Acre project. And I called this meeting or this workshop because of some recent issues that have arisen concerning, basically it's going to be more money, so it's going to be a court decision. Elle, you want to present?
So I did a quick little PowerPoint and you all have a hard copy of it, just there it is, right? So there's a picture of the sculpture just so you can remember what it looks like. And then on the next slide shows basically looking from Magnolia Street to the Plaza area. Those little circles in there, those were to represent the three little statues. But you can see in this picture that the wall that we have in front is 8 foot high. The brick wall that we have going on there. And so really, you know, the whole idea of the Plaza area is for it to be aesthetically pleasing. And then on the next slide, I just wanted to give you a picture of the whole entire plaza, how it laid out. So we have the concrete and then the grassy area, more concrete, grassy area, and then of course the community center. But in the very first section to your very east is where the statues are, and you can kind of see them. They're little black blurbs in there, and I highlighted it on the next slide, zoomed in on it so you could see it a little bit better.
So Elle, is the gray area the grass? And then
No,
the concrete?
No, the gray area is, there's two different colors of concrete. So one's gray and then one's what they call buff. So that's the decorative concrete. The big white area, that's where your grass is going to be at with your trees.
Okay. And so the statues weren't going to be on the grass?
No, they were going to be in the concrete. I mean, yeah, in the concrete.
Okay.
And so the next slide just shows you a little bit zoomed in picture of it. And then on the next slide, the yellow section is highlighted because that's where the community center. Oh, I'm sorry, skip that one. Wait, there you go. So that's going to be the community center. And I wanted to point out this one because the original design that we have right here from the designer, the fountain designer, has all of the plumbing and everything going alongside the community center on the south side. And you can see where we have all of that data going through there. That is all fiber optic. So we are not going to be able to do anything there. It would cost a significant amount of money for us to hydro these pipes through in order to get it back to the sewer that's back, the sewage that's back there, the sewer, the city sewage. So that's going to a significant cost for us to do that. The green area on the bottom is the city of Rockport. That's their city hall. We can't go into their scope. And the other part is the Aransas County Courthouse. So we were trying to, you know, this is a community center project. And then on the next page, the vault that was designed for this, the part that I highlighted there shows you that it's 8 foot. And then there's an additional 4 on top of that. So it makes it a total of 12 feet deep. Right?
What did you say? The ball?
The vault.
Vault.
Yeah, he calls it a vault.
Is it the concrete base?
It's concrete and it's like a 12 by 12. Because humans have to be able to go inside of it and be able to work on all of the pumps that are inside there. So when we had our pre-construction meeting last Monday, the conversation came up, we cannot put a 12-foot vault in there. Plus the water table is so high, right? We all know the water table here usually fluctuates about 4 feet. So we would go into water already. So that was one of the major things that came up. And then when you look at the top, the TP, which is the top of the pavement is at 7.5. So then the vault would be higher than the top of the pavement. So it'd be sticking out. So he was going to go back. Mr. Beckwith was going back and was going to try to figure out a different way for us to possibly put in 3 separate vaults. 3 separate vaults that would be shallower But then, of course, then you're putting in, you have 3 separate vaults that you're going to be putting into a ground, so additional construction costs. And then after we had more conversation, we started talking about the requirements for this county because it is a public water system. And that's why I printed out this next administrative. So I didn't print out all of the parts of it. You're welcome to go back and read through them. But I did print out a few and highlight about the requirements as far as reporting, how we would have to do a daily chemical report. And we don't really have staff that's even trained to take care of a fountain or staff who could go and get training to take care of a fountain. It's a whole different ballgame. And so knowing that all of these additional costs are basically coming to be over $100,000, I wanted to bring it back to the commissioners for you guys to have a discussion if this is something that we go forward with, or if it's something that we, our contractors have not finished, the subs have not finished with all of their pricing. But on our pre-construction meeting, it started out at over 100,000. And that doesn't include, we have electrical, we have permits, we have plumbing that would have to be done. So there's a significant amount of money. I just wanted you guys to be aware before we either keep going forward or we pull back.
It also includes, wasn't there like a shed, 8x8 shed, or?
That's if we had to bring the vault, if we wanted to bring the vault above ground, and we looked at that as an option, just bringing the whole entire vault up on top of the pavement, then we would have it would be a 12x12, an 8x8 or a 12x12 building sitting in the middle of the plaza.
Right.
So there wasn't really any way to kind of hide
Well,
that,
that would be an above ground vault, is that what that?
an above ground vault.
But there's not any space to put it, and we could try to put it on the west side of the courthouse. But then you're talking about underground, and there's a lot of infrastructure underground, so it wouldn't be feasible.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, it's a nice gesture, but it's awfully expensive.
Yeah.
And it's gonna add, the water treatment and everything. It's not gonna add a big amount to the routine daily maintenance annual cost. But it can be significant, especially if you do repair and anything like that. You stand to be very significant.
Right.
I might have the structure, but I'm not sure that with the cost overruns and everything we've had, I'm not sure we can afford it.
And
I
that,
really appreciate the thought, really do. And if we were under better circumstances within the cost overruns on the courthouse, we don't even know where we're at yet. So I would think that we can't do this.
There's another solution that you brought earlier about just spigots and water running.
yeah, so another option was that he could redesign the sculpture so that it's kind of like a water hose. You turn it on, the water goes through it, but the water goes straight into the storm drains. It's not getting recirculated.
Right. Yeah.
New York County, that's already on water restrictions all the time. And, it was like we could put a timer on it. So it just went off 3 minutes or 5 minutes an hour. But I think that kind of defeats the purpose of the fountain being there all the time. So.
From the electrical side, you still need to put lights on it at night or somebody.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's an ongoing cost, and we shouldn't spend a lot of money on the courthouse, you have to look nice, and I think that make it look very nice. It's not 4%. I just don't know if we can afford it.
Well, I know we can't, but
No, we can't, or cannot.
cannot.
This being an interactive water feature, though, it has to be treated just like a public pool in a lot of ways, right?
Right.
So that's a lot of maybe unbudgeted expenses also.
Yep, that's all that chemical, a daily chemical report has to be done. Records have to be kept. I don't have that sheet in front of me, but I think it's 2 years or 3 years. But those reports have to be kept. They'll come in and check you, just like I guess they probably do with the city pool.
Yeah.
Well, getting the license to operate, the test and everything's not a big expense. It's an ongoing expense. It's not difficult to do. But the cost of the infrastructure, just, we need to, we're looking to have it reside inside of the courthouse, and that's $1 million. don't know, I hate to say it, but I don't think I'd be in favor of it. I mean, we're not making a decision here,
Yeah.
but that's one, which is my thoughts.
Yeah, I just want all y'all know so that y'all know.
Louise, what are other options for the sculpture if the county,
Well,
not to put it.
this is all, just still processing the information. I learned some new things today that I didn't know from speaking to Judge Garza last Friday or last week. Earlier this week, sorry. And so I'm still processing it, but I mean, I think it does not seem like a tenable situation right now. So I will just, probably look for alternatives in the private sector where we're not subjected to some of these regulations, which seem excessive. But I know that, the county has to meet certain demands due to codes and so forth. But as far as placement, the sculpture's been ready since September of last year, which is when we thought we'd be installing it right around that time frame. And so we'll just look for alternatives. I don't have alternatives on my current campus because that's already filled up with a lot of sculpture. We have sculptures already in progression coming. But we'll try to work with people in the private sector that have access to a property that might want to accept this feature. But we thank you for considering it, and I know that this is a difficult situation, and we're still friends, so.
Thank you, Luis.
Coming up with it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, that's all the information we have. Sorry it was short and sweet, but.
We have to vote on that another time.
We
can't do it now.
We can't vote. We're not,
At some future time, we have to make
I'll probably just make a judgment call as myself, but because I'm not spending money, but like the other way around, I'd be spending over $100,000.
Yeah, because I think we have voted to accept the proposal, but not to accept the work.
Right.
I don't know.
I'll look into it. I'll look into it.
So I do know that it was on the agenda.
Hey, I have a question. You said that there's a wall that would be behind where the fountain was going? What is
So
that?
it's actually in front of the fountain. If you look at the drawing on this one, Colin, right after the sculpture. So that is your view from Magnolia Street. Okay, so these are the stairs that take you into the court, going up into the courthouse. And this is the one that takes you to City Hall. So there's a large curved wall. And
It's along the sidewalk, right?
yeah, it's along the sidewalk. So it's this big curved wall right here. Right, and see all the
And how tall did you
landscaping?
say that was?
This one is 8 foot. Yeah, so it goes from the ground, it goes 8 foot, and then they built up the plaza that high, and then all of the sculpture and everything else is on top of that. So if you stand on Magnolia Street, you go up about 8 feet.
Is that wall in place right now?
That'll probably be one of the last things, because they need to be able to access everything else for all the concrete. And that'll be one of the last things that gets put in.
Now, that wall's part of the design, or is it for formal purpose other than just aesthetic?
It's more of an aesthetic thing. It actually puts the name on it, the Celebration Plaza, that's where the signage is gonna go along there.
Cost of that wall.
I know, it's all part of the grant. You're not paying for it.
Probably a lot less than what they put in the bid. They're always a lot cheaper when they go to take it out
Oh, yeah.
rather than put it in.
I just think it's odd to have a large wall there. We're supposed to be inviting to the public, but that's a separate issue. That at first, that I understood, there's gonna be an 8-foot wall out there.
Yeah, but it's. Yeah, but it has all the landscaping in front of it. It's pretty when you look at.
So where is the handicap ramp?
On,
Get in that side, up into the plaza.
Thank you, County Clerk.
yeah, I'm like trying to think, is there one on?
I'm trying to think,
There needs to be one on each.
there's one on the backside, but,
But there needs to be one on the
Yeah.
other side.
oh, thank you.
Mhm. to look at the plans, the larger plans, because all I have in front of me is the community center plans. It might be part of the courthouse scope and the city hall scope.
Have we looked into that?
I realize it's not part of this workshop.
If we're gonna anchor to the downtown, we need to be able to enter from the downtown area. Would be a nice idea.
All right, any other questions? All right,
Switcher.
all right.
Who seconded, I'm sorry?
Uh,
Commissioner Cheney? Commissioner Castleberry? Commissioner Russo?
I'm
Commissioner